Welcome to my podcast, Open Doors. This podcast today is about Summer Wells. From start to finish, I will do a series of podcasts from the start and finish. Show you how our real world is about. Open your mind and your eyes to the most evil parents and how these parents can call themselves that and live with themselves in this world. How they can make a beautiful world like this turn ugly. Stay tuned and enjoy Chip's podcast, Open Doors. We're going to start from the beginning. As it's a new podcast, I'm going to take you through step by step, bit by bit, and see if we can see anything to do that we've missed. This is going to be a series of podcasts on Summer Wells. This is not a podcast for Summer Wells. This is a podcast for everything. But I thought it'd be appropriate, considering I am part of Mystery Angels, to do a whole podcast on Summer Wells. I will also do a live to discuss what we talk about on this podcast. So if you'd like to be a guest or anything else, or come up and discuss your feelings and thoughts and your ideas, then you are more than welcome. You can email me or Griff, and we will answer you back, and we'll make arrangements, dates and times where we will record our podcast. And sometimes we will do a live, and other times we will do a recorded live. If you're interested, please like, share and subscribe, because after a month this is going to subscribers only. So here we go, shall we? My name's Chip. I am your podcast host for tonight. Let's hear what Miss Candice Wells has to say.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
Now, if you look carefully, she says the word lure away from here, but her actions is like she's telling a horror story. You know, like one of them Jackanory tell us a story. So if you look closely at her face and her eyes, it's almost like she's taking her body away from the actual thing that's happened, and that she's just there to tell a story. That it's not happened actually to her, but like she's reading it from a book. Watch carefully.
Here, me and my mother and her were planting flowers.
Now, according to Candice, they were planting flowers. But there was no flowers. None. There was a sickling, which is a small tree that was growing. That was about 2 months old. There was some weeds growing too. But there was definitely no flowers. We will see that in the future. But at the moment, let's carry on.
And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers.
Why would a young 5-year-old girl who's got candy go and see her brothers? Because wouldn't they want candy? They've been there locked in all day. Why would she get candy and not them? They obviously don't get a lot of treats. So wouldn't that be something that would be targeted? Wouldn't she be targeted if she's walking with candy and they want it? Could there be a fight because grandma gave her a bag of candy? Because she doesn't exactly say how much candy that grandma gave her, right? People are assuming one piece that she put in her mouth. But what if it was a small bag of candy? Or some Skittles in her hand? And she went over there and her brothers wanted them and said, can I have one, Summer? Maybe the youngest. No, mine. Grandma gave them to me for planting the plants. And it was a big fight for them to try and take it off her. So they all joined in, all three boys, to try and grab her and take the candy off her. Because maybe that's what they do. They're treated like that. So why not act like animals? Why not grab what they want? Could that have been the mistake? That the children would fight for something so sweet because they don't get a lot of it? Could have that been what happened? Pushed down the stairs in an attack. Or the oldest holding her down and sitting on her while the boys tried to prise her candy out of her hands. And poor Summer was fighting to keep the candy. That's a question mark. Let's move on.
And I said, okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV, and I told them...
Now remember, she was talking to the boys while they were watching TV. How many of you who have got children, when the oldest ones are watching TV and trying to watch their program, and their sister's been out all day, enjoying herself, having a slushie while they've been thirsty, locked in, no one in, no one out. But we'll get to that after.
The boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled down.
Now remember, it's not a playroom, it's a bedroom. This is the biggest flag of all. She says her sons said she went downstairs to play in the playroom. There is no playroom. There's 2 rooms in the basement, the parents' room and the so-called children's room, but they are both bedrooms, right? How many children will say, I'm going to play in the playroom? How many? If you said to your children, go upstairs and play, do you say the playroom or go into your bedrooms and play? She was trying to perceive there that there was a room in the house that Summer would go and play because it was convenient, instead of calling it bedrooms or basement rooms. It didn't sound right to call it that. But the child, Summer, and the boys would not, definitely not, say playroom, because they haven't got a playroom. There's going to be pictures I'm going to show you in a little while of where the children actually play with their toys, which is in the kitchen. And Candice will actually admit it, that Summer, when she went to get Summer, she was playing in the kitchen with her toys. So why would Candice turn round and say, The boy said she's in the playroom, Mum, downstairs. Why wouldn't they say Summer went down and played in the basement? Or Summer went downstairs to her bedroom to play? Or Summer went down there? Think of the children and think of the vocabulary of these children. Would you say, go and play in your playroom when it's your bedroom? No. Would you tell your children, go play upstairs in your playroom when you know full well it's a bedroom? Or would you say, go play upstairs in your bedroom? This is the biggest red flag. It was never called a playroom. So if the boys were interviewed and said, she went to play in the playroom downstairs, then we know they've been groomed. And if they really, really believe these children had said playroom, then they're dumber than we even know. There's no way they have a playroom. No way. They don't even have a living room. They have 3 bedrooms and a kitchen area where they sit and watch TV and do all their family bits and pieces. They don't have running water or electric in there, so they have to use a generator. So forgive me when I say bull on all this. They don't say playroom.
Downstairs for her a couple times, and they didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me.
What did she mean? She always answers me. So when you holler at that poor little girl, she jumps up because she's frightened of you? Are you saying, Miss Candice, that your 5-year-old child will always answer you wherever you call, but every other 5-year-old child in the whole world sometimes doesn't? When have you called your 5-year-old child when they've played and wanted to play? And you've walked in and said, I've been calling you. Oh, sorry, Mum, I was playing on my game, or we were playing dolls, or something like that, or we were in our own world. Or is it because if Candice shouts, the baby knows she's going to get hurt if she doesn't run up and quickly answer her and not let her wait? There's another flag of her telling you the way she's parenting this children. Coming from her mouth and her mouth alone, she will always jump up and answer me. The confidence, the reassuring herself.
And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. I don't go on walks around here.
She was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. So you go into a child's bedroom that your boys have said, she's downstairs, Mum, playing in the child's bedroom, of course. So she goes downstairs, sees she's not there, and then said she's just gone. So was the door not open then? Because the first thing you'd look, because according to Don and Candice, when we get into this podcast, Summer sometimes plays outside the door, right? So if the door was open, then Candice would have gone, what the heck? This door was shut. It was locked. Boys, did you leave this door open? How many times has Don said, we've often told the boys, we're trying to tell them to keep this door shut and locked. But sometimes, no matter what you do, they still carry on leaving it open. But then surely Candice would have saw the door open and then went outside to see if Summer was on the swing or playing or running around. But according to Candice, Summer was just gone. She knew straight away that Summer had gone. There's your other red flag, the contradiction. That door, if it was open, Candice would have gone up to the boys and said, why did you leave the back door open? How many times do we have to tell you to keep that door locked? Or, who opened the bloody back door? You wouldn't just go, Summer, go downstairs. Oh, she's not playing in here. She's gone. She's been kidnapped. Would you? You would go, well, she's probably outside, if the door was open. Now, if the door was shut and locked, you'd be like, well, where's she gone? The door's shut and locked, so she can't go out the back. But they determined to say they can't remember if the door was open or shut or locked. But if you think about it carefully, if she went downstairs to look for someone and someone didn't answer, so she got a bit angry to say, hold on a minute, you should answer. I've warned you about this before. When I call you, you come. You answer me. Them children weren't the type of children to defy these two parents, considering they were violent and heavy-handed. So she walks down the stairs, looks around. Summer, are you there? Looks at the door, and the door must have been shut and locked. Because if it was open, she would have said, I couldn't find her downstairs, so I went outside to look for her. Or I opened the door and went outside to look for her. Or I didn't go outside to look for her because the door was locked. It was shut. Or the door was open, so I went outside to look for her. And I went round and said to the boys, why did you leave the back door open? Now we've lost Summer. Look around and let's find her. But she didn't say that, did she, guys? Think of the scenarios, what you would do in that situation. If your 5-year-old child had gone missing, you would remember if that door was open or not, and if you walked through it to look for her or not. And why would you walk down and see an empty couple of rooms down in the basement and walk back up to the boys? Why wouldn't you go through the back door and round the house, calling for her? Because you already knew she wasn't there. It was an act in front of the boys, wasn't it, Candice?
Or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes. And
if you were scared of the bears and snakes, you would have left that property. Don gave her the opportunity to move to Utah, where there's no bears and snakes. And she refused. She said she loved it there so much that she refused. She was so frightened of the bears that she would leave rubbish lying around where it would attract snakes and bears. Look behind her at this here. Can you see this? You would make sure that these weeds were cut down and the grass was cut really short, so there was no chance of snakes coming into the property. But yet, it's big, look. So, is she scared of bears and snakes? If you were scared, would you stay in a property? Or if you had the opportunity to leave and go to Utah away from bears and snakes, would you do that? Of course you would. Look at the eyes. There's nothing there. No sorrow, no sadness. The answers are in them eyes.
even the coyotes that are around here. Well, whoever has my daughter.
If that's true and there is coyotes, The neighbour that heard the scream could have heard coyotes, because they were yelling for summer and hollering and crying and screaming. The coyotes could have thought that was an animal being injured, and they could have howled, right?
I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and
they have not harmed her. Somebody took her. One person, somebody. Now she says, they. I hope they haven't took her and harmed her. They. Plural. First she said somebody must have took her. And now she's saying they. So she knows it's more than one. How would she know? A lot of predators work alone. They don't like to share. So answer me this question, guys. They?
bring her back to us safe and sound.
Bring her back to us. Almost like she's talking to someone. You've done it many times before. You've brought her back before. So what's happened now? Just like when a parent splits up with another parent and they're supposed to bring the children back at a certain time because it's court ordered. The first thing they say is, why haven't you brought them back to me? But she says, bring her back to us. Bring her back to us. Not give her back, because she was taken, right? Bring her back. So if something was taken, it would be, you took our daughter, give her back. But Candace says, bring her back. We gave you her and she was supposed to be brought back at a certain time. Bring her back. Not give her back. Because when you take something, what do you say? Give me it. If your child takes sweets and you want to take it off them because they've got to eat dinner first, you don't say, bring it to me, bring it back, do you? You say, give it to me. Give it back. Because you know that that child is taking that sweet. So imagine it. You know the person's took her, but they've not brought her back. So she's asking them to bring her back, not give her back. A kidnapper will be, give her back to us. She is clearly saying, bring her back to us. Shall we move forward?
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. I mean, I don't know, it seems kind of elusive.
Is that I've never seen this truck.
Right. So listen to the words Don's saying, and everyone's going on about a lot of stuff, except for one stuff. Alexa, volume 5. Alexa, what does elusive mean?
The adjective elusive is usually defined as eluding or failing to allow for or accommodate a clear perception or complete mental grasp, hard to express or define. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for elusive.
How does a man of Don's vocabulary, I get confused, I get mixed up, use the words elusive that I didn't even know what it meant? How did he know that word? How did he know what sentence to put it in? Apparently he's a hillbilly. Apparently he's not smart. Apparently he can't remember what time he scratched his butt. But yet he can put the word elusive in a right sentence, considering this is Don we're speaking about here. The supposedly slow, unintelligent person that uses a word that I don't even use, elusive. Just putting it out there. Would you use the word elusive in a situation? Or would you use the word confusing, complicated, elusive? I'll leave that to you guys.
And I've never heard of it until just recently.
Now, Candice says she's never heard of this red truck till recently. However, Don took photographs of a red truck, right? Wasn't the police on their property either a couple of days before or a couple of days after? Surely the police would be able to come and say about the red truck that Don saw a week ago, a day ago, a month ago, and was on his property, and one of our deputies went and talked to, it's not the truck we're looking for. There was no harm in them saying that. Don says he's got photographs of this truck. But has he? Exactly, Guardian. He hasn't. So here we go.
But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves.
Again, I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. How did they know how many people were in the vehicle? Like I said, Mr. Don had come home after taking photographs of the red truck. But yet nobody asks, hey, Mr. Don, show us the photographs of these red trucks. He puts photos out all the time on his YouTube channel and also on his Facebook. Yet this red elusive truck he says he took photographs of has never appeared. Also, surely he'd taken photographs. He would also take photographs of the people. And wouldn't the sheriff come out, Mr. Lawson, aka Lazy Butt, come out and actually say, the truck that Mr. Donald took the photographs of is not the truck we're looking for. It's a totally different truck. Or, our deputy has had the name and address of these people. We have checked it out. And this elusive truck is not the truck we're looking for. So please, concentrate on looking for the truck. Why is she saying they, and then Don saying that there was a woman and a man in the truck that day, that Don that morning was going to work? It doesn't matter whether it was the 15th or not. What matters is the fact that they're using the word they. Don keeps saying he has pictures of this truck, and yet he never shows it. But they show pictures of a child that's been beaten. They show poor Summer his photographs with bruises all over her. Because they believe they can convince people that a child of her age could have them bruises. They believe. But we know better. So this truck seems to be, this is the first ever interview. They, elusive, the red truck, photographs. We never heard it. And even Don says we never heard of this truck. But Candice says they a lot. Bring her back. No.
I mean, if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
How do you know they're not a suspect? Now we know they're not a suspect. At the moment they're not a suspect. They're a witness. But no one said at that time, this was the first interview. The police hadn't been out yet to say anything. So why would she assume that these people wasn't a suspect to the police? Shall we continue?
'cause
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
Miss Candice, your hair was not shaved. It was cut via scissors. Anyone with hair and beauty will tell you that. You used to do your eyebrows. You still do your eyebrows. You cut them and shape them. But if you look, Candice's hair was trimmed with scissors, professionally done. But Summer was buzz cut. And we're going to look a bit later on, about a week after this interview, that Candice actually buzz cuts her hair. Oh yeah, we're going to see that. But this, however, any hairdresser will tell you that this was not buzz cut, this was cut with scissors. I will show you. So remember this part.
she tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back.
head.
She tried to shave her head at the back. You hear it, I hear it, you see it, I see it. Now they're both talking at the same time, which is rare on this.
And make it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures. And it was
I think you can see it in some of the pictures. No, you can't, Don. You see her having long hair one minute and then shaved dramatically the next.
getting out of control. So
Now he's saying it's getting out of control. He's not saying knits. So for all those out there that says knits, knits only go on clean hair. They do not go on dirty hair. They can't hold on to their eggs. The hair must be clean for the eggs to settle into the scalp. If the scalp is dirty and flaky, the eggs will fall off. The knits are there to survive. They will not go on dirty, greasy hair. They will only go on dry, shiny, healthy hair.
we decided to shave her head off and
We decided to shave her head off. Let's go back, shall we?
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it,
She tried to shave her head off herself.
I think you can see it in some of the pictures. And it was getting out of control.
So, you can see in some of the pictures, it was getting out of control. She tried to shave it. We thought, why not? And just shaved her head. Is that what Don's saying? Nope. He's saying, we decided. Not Summer. We.
So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long. And
Let it grow back long. That's a lie. So the behaviour panellist said he's telling the truth here. No, he isn't. Because if you look, Candice and Don's hair has grown back long. He had it shaved the same time as the boys and Candice and Summer. Look how long Mr. Wells's hair is. Look how long Candice's hair is. And look how long poor Summer's hair was. She had her hair shaved multiple times. Not once to let it grow back long. This is deception and a lie. He's looking to find and remember. And he's remembering the truth right there. He's remembering Summer screaming. Look where I'm pointing, guys. He sees his eyes. Look at his eyes. He remembers Summer screaming why they held her down and shaved her because she wanted to be a princess. And he didn't want that. See? That's what he's looking at. He's remembering the scream, the shouting, the commotion to grab her Did he get the boys involved to, when she ran away, to grab her? Did Candace say, grab the boys? And they held her down, all of them, while she shaved their hair. Could this family do that? I'll let you decide.
And she shaved her head to...
She shaved her head. There's 3 different stories. Remember what I said? He hides a lie in a multiple truths. So her head was shaved. Some have probably asked, why is Mummy shaving her head like Daddy and the boys? That's probably the truth too. Maybe she touched the buzz cut and thought it was funny. Maybe she tried to cut, more than likely, she tried to cut one of the boys' hair when they got angry with her. Maybe she picked up, Candace was sitting there stoned off her head. Don was shaving the boys' head, put it down to have a smoke. Got another boy to sit down when he turned round. Summer had climbed up and started shaving Candace's hair. Candace was out of it. So what about that scenario, guys? Let's put that into the pipeline, shall we? Let's just say little Summer, being Summer, decides, well, if the boys are getting a haircut, I want to do the boys. She got shouted at. No, Summer, leave it alone. Then the dad went out for a smoke or went to the toilet or something, or had his back turned to her. She picked up the clippers, saw her mum lying there fast asleep, and started shaving her mum's head. What if it was her mum's head that Summer shaved, and her mum got so angry she went, right, you do it to me, I have to shave my head, now I'm shaving yours. Is Candace that type of mother to do that to a child? I think so. Comment down below what you guys think.
so she wouldn't feel bad. And
So Candace shaved, listen to what Don says, Candace shaved the rest of her hair so Summer wouldn't feel bad, which means that Summer had her head shaved against her will. Hey, behaviour panellists, you're right. He's hiding. He's telling you a load of truths with a lie. It's true she had her head shaved. It's true that Candace cut her head. But what's not true is they probably held her down why her head got shaved, because she probably picked up the buzzsaw and actually shaved her mum's back of her hair when she had long hair. Because Candace had long hair most of her life. And the only way you would cut it short or all of a sudden is if you had no choice. Why would she take away femininity like that? Unless she had no choice to. Unless our little Summer saw her mum stoned off her head fast asleep or drunk and decided, I'll do Mummy a haircut and shave Candace's back of her head. Is that the truth?
but it didn't bother her at this point. Well, we knew.
Well, if it didn't bother her, then why did she need soothing? Why did she need Candace to shave the rest of her hair to make her feel better? I thought the behaviour panel said that Don understood certain emotions. First of all, he uses big words like elusive in the correct manner. We've just found out and heard it from Alexa, which I didn't even know that word. And now he's saying that Candace cut her hair to make Summer feel better. So was it the fact that the boys, Summer laughed at them for having their hair cut and they grabbed her and shaved her head? And then Don turned around and said, right, Candace, for you leaving the boys doing that, it's your fault. Shave your head. and Don made Candace shave her head to make Summer feel better. Could that have been the scenario there? Now everyone could say, well, what's that got to do with Summer going missing? Well, it's simple. It's the dynamic of the parents and the way they think and talk to their children and themselves. Was the child so scared to breathe that she wouldn't leave the confines of her house if she was told to stay in a certain area? There's no way she would run away. She just wouldn't. Why? Because you scared her. You frightened the poor girl into doing that. Is that correct? I am using fair trade on all this, and we're going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb. I have not been able to do this because I've been waiting for someone to teach me. My family, Griff, told me how to do this, and as soon as she did, I managed to think of a way up to do it this way, guys. So this is my take that I've been waiting for you guys to do on this podcast. A fine-tooth comb. Let's carry on.
I knew right away that she was abducted. You know, I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, you know, I forget the word.
Right. So let me get this straight. You remember a great, big, complicated word that you fit correctly into a sentence that I didn't even hear of or understand. Maybe because I'm autistic, fair enough. But I bet you many people didn't. Elusive. And on top of that, he now can't remember a simple procedure word like procedure. Don't know about you guys. Doesn't make sense to me. Does it you? Comment down below. I would love to hear your comments.
Investigation.
We have to do one step at a time, I guess, but I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, you know, and I feel for them. But I just wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then
Well, why would they search neighbours' houses if you said she was abducted? Not taken, abducted. Not kidnapped, abducted.
if they're not willing, you know, get a search warrant or something, but there's just no way you can search every single house.
If they're not willing, they should get a search warrant. But she wasn't taken from your property. She was abducted from your property. You can't tell me that Don doesn't understand words when he used a huge word at the beginning. A word elusive that not many people would use, especially in his circumstances and my circumstances too. If he is a bit uneducated, like people are trying to portray, like they are trying to portray, he gets mixed up, confused, he isn't that smart. Well, if that's true, then why is he using words that we, and most probably a lot of us, don't understand?
You know, in the eastern United States or whatever, but I wish there was a way.
Content powers are
Or persons that's doing that, you know, out of love, trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
Now get her found, so now she's lost. It's not making any sense. His sentences don't make sense. Maybe because I'm autistic, I don't know. And I like things in black and white, plain and simple. But to me, when you say stuff like, look for her to be found, then that means she's missing again. But she's abducted according to Don and Candice. She's not taken, she's abducted. She's not kidnapped, she's abducted. A huge word again. Elusive again, but can't remember the word procedure. That is used more common than any of the words Don's used here so far. But again, they're trying to portray this poor, uneducated family, when really, is that true? Is Don actually proven to everyone that he's hiding in plain sight? That he's actually a very smart person with an education that's good? Don't forget, in prison they teach you, you get educated. I would never use the word elusive, and I wouldn't say I was stupid. But I wouldn't say I was smart neither. And yet, Don portrays to be this hillbilly, doesn't understand much, isn't educated, hasn't got any money, just knows how to drywall, that's it. And yet uses big words. Has a great big house for free. Lives on a property rent-free. But he's stupid, yeah? Maybe you guys, especially the police, especially Lawson, maybe Lawson, you might have to rethink that Don Wells is actually smarter than you and all your boys. And maybe the TBI and the FBI might need to actually put somebody to find somewhere who has a bigger intelligence than Don. Because so far, Don, and using his word, Don's been elusive and you can't catch him. So who's the stupid one? Who's the one that doesn't have an education now? These two people that are supposed to be not smart, uneducated, poor people are outwitting the police, outwitting professionals in body language. And Chris McDonough being the only one that hasn't took the bait. And he's been attacked for it. Just keep that in mind, guys.
Means a lot.
And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and there's always going to be.
She's an awesome young lady. Now, if I didn't know that Summer was a little 5-year-old child, if he would have said to me, "Oh, Summer's an awesome young lady," I would have seen her as a teenager, 15, 16, even 14. Not a 5-year-old child. I would not use them words to describe a child, a 5-year-old, an awesome young lady. No, that's not what I would do. Would you? Would you describe your 5-year-old men? Fathers out there, would you describe your 5-year-old girl as a young lady? A young lady improvise. Well, let's have a look. Let's ask Alexa. Hey, Alexa, what is the meaning of young lady?
Young lady is usually defined as a young, usually unmarried woman of refinement, grace, etc. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for young lady.
Alexa, what's the definition of child?
Child is usually defined as a person between birth and full growth, a boy or girl. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for child.
I rest my case. Shall we move on?
Haters, and it's always going to be that way in this world, and we just want to focus on the.
How would he know he had haters? This was done on the 29th of June. Someone went missing on the 15th. How would he know about haters? Answer yourself that question, guys. 2 weeks. How do they know they've got haters? They haven't even started yet.
The good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us and praying for.
Yes, that's what Don wants. Don knows that his church aren't into going and physically looking. His church doesn't believe that they have to get off their lazy, good-for-nothing behinds and actually work. They believe that if they fall to their knees and put their hands together, that their God will come down and fix everything for them. So why should they get up and look when they can pray? Because that's going to get some found, isn't it? But if the police did that, I bet you Don and Candice would love it. If the police said, all right, let's do it your way. Let's just sit here and pray and hope that God shows us something. What if that happened? Would the world be okay with police doing that? What if the search teams said, come on, Don and Candice, let's get on our knees and pray, and that's the way we're going to search. We're going to let God show us. We're just going to sit here and wait for God to bring her back. Don would love that. Why? Because then no one's looking for her. Then she's safe. But you see, wouldn't you hide some in the same place as the auntie?
For summer, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts, and that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with.
The bottom of our heart. So let's take that word, the bottom of our hearts. Most people would say the word with all our hearts. We thank people with all our heart because they're so thankful that the whole of their heart is given to the people looking for their daughter. Nope. They only give them the bottom, the end bit, the finished product, the bottom of their heart, the pit, right? Not the whole heart, just a little bit at the bottom for their daughter, for them, feeling sorry for them, breaking their legs, limping, scratching, coming up against bears, all that lot. You get the bottom. But for most parents, people would have all their hearts. We thank you from all of our hearts. But Don says the bottom, implying that's all you're getting. That's all you deserve. Okay, we're going to leave the podcast here for now. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And don't forget to leave comments down below. If you want to come onto the podcast, email me or Griff. Go on to Mystery Angels Community Wall and you will see everything you need to see. And I will catch you in the next episode of Open Doors. Stay safe, guys.